GBPUSD. And on the GBPUSD, we have been selling for the last 48 hours in this market, as we were able to capture a sell position right after the breakdown of that support line sitting at the 1.26250 level since Monday's New York session. We sold around that area. So now, what was the basis behind, what was the idea or rationale behind selling around that point? Well, the first thing we observed at the beginning of the week was price action trapped within a range between the 1.26550 level and the 1.26250 area. And you know what we look out for whenever we have this kind of simple setup? We want to see price action either break out of the resistance line or break down of the support line for trading opportunities. And during our live session on Monday, we were around here where price action had dropped below the 1.26550 level, and with a sell stop order just below the structure, we had our first sell position for the week triggered. And price action even gave us more opportunities to join. If you had missed out on that first one, price came back to retest structure, and boom, we saw our price move to as far as the 1.25750 level, giving us about, how many pips was that? About 50 pips move before we begin to see this bullish pressure come in this market. And since in the last 24 hours here, you will notice that price action has been quite choppy in this market, as price action is currently trading between the 1.26350 level and the 1.26080 area, giving us a level of indecision in this market. And this is well connected to the CPI event that we are looking forward to today, which is coming up in about 2 hours from now, and everyone is really anticipating this event, hereby giving us this level of indecision we are seeing in this market. And with this kind of situation here, it is quite obvious what we want to be looking out for. Remember, whenever we have this kind of simple flat channel that you are seeing on your screen right now, the only way we want to be trading this is by remaining patient to wait for either a breakout or breakdown of this channel for trading opportunities. Personally, I did have a buy position here. I told us all yesterday that we should have a buy position. If you had a buy position here currently, you will be running in a loss right now of about, let's see how many pips is that, of loss, about 8 pips loss right now. And remember, our stop loss is sitting just right below the 1.26080 area, which is dovetailing to about 19 pip stop loss around that point. So let's see how far this move is going to go at this point. However, as we head into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans? Are we holding on to the bullish buyers, or are we going to be getting ready to sell? Well, the first thing I would like to do here is to take us into the 4 hours time frame, where I want us to look at things from a critical standpoint. Now, if we go to the 4 hours time frame here, this is the 4 hours time frame, and the first thing you would observe is the fact that price action has been bullish in this market. So if we connect the series of higher lows here, we have a beautiful bullish trend line which has been supporting that momentum since the month of March. However, at the beginning of this month, we saw a deviation from that momentum, as we saw a new trend line where price action found new higher lows here in the last couple of weeks. Now we have been seeing this trend line, which we talked about on the 1 hour time frame, and on Monday we saw the breakdown of this trend line, which is a bearish signal, and in fact price action came back to retest the structure. And it appears that sellers are still in this area to incite that trend continuation to the downside. So at this point in time, it is very important that we remain patient, as anything could actually happen. And to further buttress this whole structure we have here, I have a trend line which, after connecting the series of lower high, is giving us this bearish trend line you can see on your screen. So this trend line today is going to be our yardstick for trading activity. So what this simply means is that if price action remains above the trend line, we shall be looking out for buying opportunities, but if price action remains below the trend line, we look out for selling opportunities in this market. So with this information we have gathered here, you will see how this whole structure has been is what we are going to be using to guide our trading activity for today. So now look at what we have here. We have look at what has been happening between the 1.26350 and the 1.26250 area. So despite the fact that we have been seeing some buy pressure in the last 48 hours, one thing for sure here is that as soon as price gets into this range, we have been seeing multiple rejection of that level, which further emphasize the strength of the sellers at this point. So it's more likely that the selling momentum is going to be coming in here today. So we want to anticipate that too as well. So in order to have a better view of what is going on there, we will be moving right into a much more lower time frame, which is the 1 hour time frame. Now, like I said on the 4 hours time frame, we have a trend line already. You might want to map this out on your charts right now so that you can use it as a reference point to guide your trading activity today. So as long as price action remains below that trend line, we feel comfortable in a sell position. Then in addition to that one too is this trend line too. I was able to identify this morning after connecting the series of higher lows in this market, and as you can see, I have a temporary trend line. So a breakdown of this trend line will be giving me a sell position here. So I want to see price action retest the structure, and look at the retest of that structure. It also shares a confluence with that bearish trend line there, and if that happens and selling pressure continues below the structures, right below the 1.26250 on our lower time frame, we get ready to sell. Then we look out to add more position to our existing trade at the breakout retest of the 1.26080 area. So this is how we are going to be selling the GBPUSD for today. So anywhere right below the trend lines you see on your screen right now is where we shall be looking out for selling opportunities, and this is further buttressed by the continued selling pressure we have been observing since the beginning of the week, just around the 1.26350 level and the 1.2625350 area. So because of this point in time, we have a very strong selling niche around that area. A breakdown of the bullish trend line will now confirm the strength of the sellers in this market. So let's be on standby to catch that move. Now, for those who are still holding on to a bullish bias here, that you're thinking of buying the GBPUSD today, what I would like to say here is that the only reason why we are going to be buying the GBPUSD today is to see price action take out all the sell position that we have been observing around this area in the last 48 hours. So we want to see price action take out all the sell position here by breaking out of the 1.26350. Take the advantage of joining that move right away from that level with a stop loss somewhere around this area, around the 1.26100 area, dovetailing to about 25 pips thereabout, so that we can capture this whole situation as price action is likely going to come back, retest either the 1.2625 or this trend line to inside another wave to the upside. So we want our stop loss to be as wide as possible, so about 25 pips stop loss seems most appropriate after the breakout of the 1.26350 area. And if that happens, then the trend line here, which we identify, will now be a guide to guide that bullish momentum all the way to the upside. And the further breakout of the 1.26550 area will definitely welcome additional position on the GBPUSD. So this is what we are going to be looking forward to on GBPUSD for today. I hope you screenshot my screen so that you can use it as a reference point when you're about to make your individual decision on this pair. So that is that on the GBPUSD. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section.